Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering 2026, a year that is moving so fast, it doesn't even stop to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching 2026, a year that is racing so rapidly, it barely pauses long enough to breathe. Technology is growing. Technology keeps expanding. AI is working overtime. AI is operating nonstop. Your refrigerator knows more about your eating habits than your doctor. Your refrigerator understands more about your eating patterns than your doctor. And your phone is smarter than half of your relatives. And your phone is wiser than many of your relatives. The world is changing aggressively. The world is shifting dramatically. And if you want to win in it, you cannot rely on the basic mindset of just working hard. And if you hope to succeed here, you cannot depend on the simple mentality of only working hard. Hard work used to be the key, but today even insects work hard. The ant in your kitchen is more disciplined than most people I know. The ant inside your kitchen is far more disciplined than many people I know. So what will make you rich? So what exactly will make you wealthy? Not muscles, not degrees, not how much data your phone has, it's skills. Not muscles, not certificates, not the amount of data your phone contains, it's skills. 5 human skills that can survive even in a world where robots do 90% of everything. Today we start with the first one, and trust me, it's not what you expect. The first skill is the most underrated talent. The ability to notice what everyone else ignores. The first skill is the most undervalued talent, the ability to observe what everyone else overlooks. I call it the skill of seeing the useless. Because the truth is, the richest people in the world didn't discover diamonds. They discovered small, annoying problems everyone else walked past. Think about some of the most successful ideas in the world. They didn't come from big genius moments. They came from people paying attention. One example, the story of Airbnb. 2 guys noticed something incredibly boring. Hotels were expensive during big events, and people had empty rooms. That's it. Nothing magical. Nothing special. They observed what everybody else ignored. Today, a multi-billion-dollar company built on the simple idea of people have space, other people need space. Here's another one. Here's another example. Crocs, ugly shoes, right? At least that's what the world said. But someone noticed something the rest of the world ignored. They are comfortable. Too comfortable. Way too comfortable. Comfortable enough that people would secretly love them even if they pretend not to. That tiny observation turned into a global brand worth billions. That's the power of noticing the boring everyday things. In 2026, this skill becomes even more powerful. Why? Because everyone is trying to build big, complicated things. Everyone wants to produce the next giant app, the next breakthrough technology, but the real gold is always lying on the ground. Small problems, simple solutions, consistent demand. AI can calculate, design, analyze, but it still cannot sense the irritation a human feels when a fry falls between the car seats. Speaking of that, one of the most ridiculous products I've ever seen made millions. A man noticed people continuously dropping fries and coins into that tiny gap between the car seat and the handbrake. So he invented a cheap piece of plastic to block it. Cost almost nothing to produce. Sold like it was a luxury item. Because people are ready to fight the government, but they refuse to lose a French fry. This is what I want you to understand. Ideas don't come from genius. Ideas come from paying attention. So here's a small exercise for you. Move slower. Watch people. Notice where they struggle. Listen to what annoys them. Notice what they repeat every single day without thinking. These tiny moments are opportunities wearing boring clothes. Wealth does not come from intelligence. It comes from awareness. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, just the one who is actually looking. 2026 will reward individuals who pay attention and punish individuals who rush blindly. So stop saying there are no opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere. They walk past you daily. You simply don't see them because your eyes stay busy scrolling. And that is the first skill. Notice what everyone else ignores. The world is full of gold, but most people are staring at their phones while stepping on it. Before we move into the second skill, let me remind you of something. In 2026, machines will be everywhere. They will write emails, answer calls, design logos, diagnose problems, and maybe even judge your fashion choices. But there is one thing a machine still cannot replace: the human spirit, the human ability to connect, influence, and inspire. The second skill that will make you rich in 2026 is something every successful person secretly relies on, but nobody teaches it properly: the skill of human communication. Not fancy English, not a deep vocabulary, not trying to sound intelligent. I'm speaking about the powerful, rare ability to talk in a way people actually want to hear. Communication is not speaking. Everyone speaks. Some people speak too much. Communication is when your words create movement, when your ideas make someone feel something, when your message enters a person's mind and stays there longer than your New Year's resolutions. Let me give you an example. There's a reason some people can raise millions with just a pitch, while others can't even convince their family to try a new restaurant. It's not because the idea is better, it's because the communication is better. With the foundation now firmly in place, the lesson moved into a more interactive phase. Emma glanced at Paul with a playful grin. "All right, Paul, I think it's time for a quick challenge," she said. Paul raised an eyebrow. "A challenge? For me? Or for everyone here?" "For everyone," Emma replied, turning back to the audience. "Let's see how much you've absorbed so far." A soft wave of murmurs rippled across the room. Some people exchanged amused glances, others flipped their notebooks to a clean page. The energy had shifted once again, this time into excitement, mixed with a bit of nervousness. Emma continued, "I'll give you a short example, and your job is to identify what concept it represents. Don't worry, it's simple." Paul chuckled. "And if it's not simple, blame Emma, not me." The room laughed, and the tension eased instantly. Emma then read out the example slowly and clearly, giving everyone time to think. As she finished, Paul leaned forward, scanning the faces in front of him. "All right," he said in a warm, encouraging tone. "Who wants to take the first guess?" Hands began to rise, hesitant at first, then more confidently. The lesson had shifted from explanation to participation, and suddenly everyone felt like they were part of something meaningful. As the hands shot up, Paul pointed to someone near the front. "Yes, go ahead," he said with an encouraging smile. The student hesitated for a second, then answered carefully. The room fell silent as everyone waited to hear Paul and Emma's reaction. Emma's eyes lit up. "Exactly," she said. "That's the correct idea. You understood it perfectly." A quiet wave of relief and pride passed through the room, and the student sat back with a smile. Paul nodded. "See, it's not as difficult as it seems. Once you recognize the pattern, everything becomes much clearer." He walked a few steps to the side, addressing the rest of the group. "And this is why practice is essential. The more examples you see, the more natural it becomes. Soon, you won't even have to think about it. It'll just happen automatically." Emma added, "And don't worry if you didn't raise your hand this time. Learning isn't a race. Everyone has their own pace, and every step, even the small ones, counts." A warm, comfortable atmosphere filled the room. People exchanged confident smiles, flipping back through their notes, suddenly understanding things that had seemed confusing before. After the first answer boosted everyone's confidence, Paul decided to deepen the challenge just a little. "All right," he said, clasping his hands together. "Let's try another example. This one's slightly different." A ripple of anticipation moved across the room. Even those who hadn't participated earlier now leaned forward, ready to test themselves. Emma picked up a small card from the table. She said, "Listen carefully," reading the new scenario with slow, clear emphasis. This example was more detailed, requiring the listeners to connect multiple ideas instead of just one. When she finished, the room stayed quiet for a moment, thinking, analyzing, weighing possibilities. Paul looked around. "Take your time. There's no rush." Finally, a hand went up from the middle row. Paul gestured warmly. "Yes, please, share your answer." The student spoke with gentle uncertainty, but with each word, their confidence grew. When they finished, Emma exchanged a quick glance with Paul, then said, "That's a very good interpretation. You're almost there." Paul stepped in smoothly. Just one small correction. He clarified the final detail, bridging the student's idea to the complete explanation. The student nodded with understanding, and many others followed suit, jotting notes and whispering small "oh" reactions as the concept clicked. Emma smiled proudly. This is exactly how learning works, step by step, idea by idea. You build, adjust, and build again. The room felt brighter now, full of engagement, progress, and a shared sense of accomplishment. With everyone now fully engaged, Emma gently placed the card back on the table. "You're all doing great," she said, her voice warm with encouragement. "I think you're ready for the next step,